Hello and welcome to Wrestling with Real Estate, where we look to chokeslam all your real estate problems. I'm your host, former WWE wrestler and now Cirque du Soleil performer, and of course, multifamily real estate investor Barry Griffiths. Now today we're joined by Marcus Aziz. How are you doing, man?
Good, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, hey, my pleasure, man. My pleasure, man. With a random story, me and Marcus hooked up over Facebook. And we just so happened to be in the Dominican Republic at the same time. I was scrolling through Facebook and we were already Facebook friends, I think. And I saw he was in the Dominican Republic in Punta Cana, where I was like, hey man, where are you? Because I thought you might have been even in the same hotel as me. But so it just so happened that we ended up being in the airport. Our flights left at the same time to go home. So we were able to connect there. And we had a great conversation. I was like, hey, let's continue this. Let's record this and kind of talk a little bit more. So man, I'm happy we were able to make this happen. I'm happy you were able to make this happen. And I appreciate you being here today, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Mason.
Of course. He also then found out, he didn't realize I was a wrestler. He also found out I was used to be called Mason Ryan in my wrestling days back then. So that was pretty funny as well. But so Marcus, do you want to tell us a little bit about who you are, about what you've been up to, about your background, what you're up to these days, just so people have an idea?
So I had a bachelor. I am originally from Egypt. I had a bachelor degree in economics from Cairo University. I graduated in 2008. I used to work for the investment bank for almost 2 years and a half, and then I had the chance to move with my family to the United States in 2011. At that time, we had in Egypt and in the entire Middle East the revolution everywhere in a lot of Arab countries over there. So I was moving anyway to the United States. So I moved in February 2011. It was tough to just move here and starting again from scratch. I started working different kind of jobs until I landed a job in an investment bank in the Philadelphia area. And I didn't really stay that long. What I figured out in the United States, to climb the corporate ladder is gonna take years to climb the corporate ladder, and I'm gonna miss a lot of things. So I decided to quit what I was doing, my corporate job, and I decided to do real estate full time. So I started buying single family homes, and I used some creative way of financing. Like I used to buy them with credit cards to borrow from family and friends, and then refinance them and pay them back. Yeah, that's very brief about me.
Cool. Yeah. So you were doing investment banking in Cairo, right? That's where.
Correct. Yeah, I used to work for one of the biggest investment banks in the Middle East, and I had a very prestigious job, and then I had the chance to move to the US and get that exposure to be exposed to different cultures, different backgrounds, different people from everywhere.
Yeah, very interesting. So what does an investment banker do for people who don't know, right? What does that job entail?
So,
Sorry, go ahead, answer that question first, and I've got a follow-up question afterwards.
so basically, we evaluate companies and take them public, like doing IPOs, initial public offerings. We list them in the stock market, and we raise capital. We do like road shows for those companies to make sure when we do IPO, the IPO is going to be covered. That's what you used to basically to do in Egypt, like to find those companies, evaluate them, list them, market them to investors, and take them public.
Mm. And then you said you work for an investment banker here in the US as well. Is it the same thing?
Here I used to do private equity. We
Okay.
were used to value. So private equity basically is you buy companies, and those companies you trying to add value to those companies through opening new markets for them, or changing the management, or optimizing their capital structure, and then you sell them, and there are different exit. There are multiple exit strategies at this point.
Okay, interesting, very interesting. So you did you study economics, right? What made you go into economics to study in college there in Cairo? Was it something you always had an interest from, or yeah, where did that come from?
I always had interest in buying something, adding value to this, buying an asset, adding value to the asset, and then sell it. So I figured out the best way to do it is to start to study economics and to major in financial economics.
Mm, okay, it sounds like you were destined to always be a real estate investor. Then, if you like to find something and add value to it, right? That's perfect for a real.
Yeah, I love numbers.
That's cool. That must have been, at that time, and I don't know if you made it personally or if it was a family decision, but to leave Cairo, right, and to leave Egypt and to come to the US, that's a pretty big move, right? That's, it's completely changing culture, changing lifestyle, leave everything kind of behind. How tough was that decision for you and your family?
Uh, at the beginning, it was tough more for my parents because they spent most of their life in Egypt. At that time, I was almost 23 years old. I had a good job, but at the same time, I know at some point in your life you need to study abroad, you need to travel abroad to meet with different cultures, and then your country is gonna stay there. It's not gonna go anywhere, right? So if I want to go back, I can go back. I have no problem, but I need to meet people, interesting people like you. I need to learn new things, and this is not gonna happen by being in the same place. So uh, uh, I had to make this move.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think it only helps all of us, right? The more we travel, the more we meet different people from different cultures, from different countries, right? It just broadens our horizons, right? It opens your mind and you learn so much more because different cultures have different things to teach every single one of us, I think. And I think I love that you wanted that. You had the urge for that knowledge and for that opening up of your mind, I guess, to see all these different things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, really interesting. Really
This is how you learn by connecting with people from different backgrounds, and you never know who you are gonna meet. Like I met you, I didn't know that you are a celebrity, and people in different countries, they know they know your name. Like when you say Mr. Ryan, they know who's Mr. Ryan.
That's
So
funny.
this would never happen if I stayed where I was at.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it was a big opportunity, a big move, but I'm glad that I did it.
yeah. So where do you guys move to? Where in the US did you guys move to?
I moved to Eastern Pennsylvania.
Uh-huh.
It's almost on the border with New Jersey, in a town called Allentown.
Okay. What made you move there of all the places in the US? What brought you guys to Allentown?
I do have family. I have two uncles and one aunt. They are here a long time ago, like 30 years ago.
Okay, so that must be a bit of a shock, right? Going from Cairo, where it's hot and humid and like scorchingly hot, to Allentown, where I'm sure it gets, pretty
It's
cold
really
in the
cold.
winter. Yeah.
Yeah, it was snowing today. I didn't know how. I didn't really realize that the weather in Egypt was really beautiful before I came here. Like when I came here,
Because
when
yeah,
it
that's all
came,
you know, right? That's what you're used to.
yeah.
Oh wow, that must have been a bit of a shock. So when you first moved over here, what was the settling in period like? What was it like trying to get used to living in the US originally? Do you take to it easily or was it quite hard?
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, so when you first moved over here to the US, apart from outside of the weather, was it hard adapting to culture here, to life here in the USA?
I'll be honest with you. Culturally, I graduated from a top tier school in Egypt. It was one of the best in the Arab countries. Cairo University is one of the best.
Mm,
So I had very good education in Egypt, and when I moved here, it was not a big difference. Like I was communicating with everyone. I was talking. I was doing what I wanted to do. I had no issue going anywhere or doing whatever I wanted to do. Like I was imagining what's gonna happen here and who I gonna how I'm gonna survive. So it was not really a big culture shock as much as in the beginning. You need to know what you're gonna do to settle down and really make it to the American dream.
Yeah, yeah. So at what point did real estate come into all of this, into your life?
Real estate, when you say real estate, for me, it's about freedom,
Mm,
like the freedom that really like being able to travel and being able to meet new people in different parts of the world, in different cities in the United States, without the cash flowing properties, without the real estate business, you can't have this freedom. If you have a corporate job, even if you are making 400K a year, you still don't have this freedom.
hmm Yeah, absolutely. Because every year you've got to work, right? You have to go to work every day to earn that money, right? That money isn't just coming in. And with real estate, what you do the work up front, you buy the property, you fix it up, but once you've done that, you're getting that cash flow coming in, and that's obviously different to a job where unless you go to work, you're not making that money, right?
Correct.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Go ahead.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And when you have this kind of freedom, you have the chance to travel, you have the chance to read, you have the chance to spend your time with your loved ones, with your wife, with your kids, um, and all what we came here for the freedom, right? The freedom. I came here for the freedom, so
Yeah.
I'm grateful for what I have did and how I accomplished so far.
Yeah, absolutely. But at what point did you find out? Did you know about real estate investing back in Cairo, or did you come here and was there a realization at some point that you
So
invest in real estate?
what we do have here, no other country have. None. Like uh, the financial system we have here, the banking system, the banking products we have in the United States, no other country in the world they have it. It's not that developed. The financial markets are not that developed in other countries like the United States. So the product itself did not even exist. The business model does not even exist in Egypt. So I can compare it.
But by what do you mean by that? By you say
Like like go buy a you go buy a building and then you refinance the building. It's not an easy thing that they do overseas. In Egypt, it's hard to happen. Like to go and like home equity line of credit. If you've been to banks out overseas, they don't know what the home equity line of credit, right?
yeah.
They don't know a credit line on investment property. They don't have Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. It's totally completely different from what we have overseas.
Mm. So what you're saying is that the lending system is very beneficial here for real estate investing.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, I agree. And the more you speak to people like from different countries, you realize how lucky we are to have this opportunity to invest in real estate here, because it really is amazing. And I think also as well the real estate market itself. So yes, the lending aspect, but also the real estate market as well is really beneficial to investors here, right? And in other countries, it really doesn't work the same, right? It's a lot more tenant friendly in other countries. It's not as easy to invest in a lot of other countries. I know with the UK, for example, can take you a year to get a tenant out in the UK. Think about that for a second, right? A year to get a tenant out, that's painful.
In Egypt, it could take 4 or 5 years to evict a tenant. So
Okay.
I'll be honest with you. I know
The UK is good then. The UK is good.
4 years to evict a tenant, to get the judgment and execute the judgment. It could take 4 years. So here in Pennsylvania, in Allentown, where I live, between the day you file the eviction and the day you evict the tenant, it doesn't take more than 4 to 5 weeks.
Wow. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Here in Vegas, it's a month. 30 days, I think, is what it takes here in Vegas. And I invest in Cincinnati, and it's the same thing. It's about 30 days there as well. Very landlord friendly, right? So
yeah.
That's good. It's always what you want in your investment. So what was the first investment that you ever made? The first real estate investment that you ever made?
So it was a single family home. I bought it 6 years ago.
Okay.
I didn't have the cash to buy it. So I borrowed from my brother. And after 3 months, I opened a line of credit on the property, and then I paid my brother back, and I bought my second property in another 3 months. Like so, in 6 months, I had two properties.
Wow. So that first property, you borrowed money from your brother to buy it?
Yeah, I borrowed like most of the money from my brother. Correct.
Okay. What did you like about that property? What made you want to, like, so I'm guessing you're thinking, like, I need to buy, because if you're borrowing money from your brother, you're like, I need to buy this property, right? I really like, what was it about that property that you like? You could see that it was undervalued. There was a opportunity there. What was it about that property?
It was really undervalued. It was REO, distressed property. It needed a lot of repairs to fix it up.
So did you do the work yourself? Who fixed it up for you? You fixed it up? Or?
No, I hired a contractor. He's a family friend. I hired him, and I rented it to Section 8 tenant. So
Okay.
you just you get a check in the mail every month.
So you borrowed the money for the down payment to buy this property. How are you then financing the contractor? Are you borrowing some more money again? How are you paying for that?
No, I had some cash on the side to pay him.
Okay. So, but you fixed that one up and put. Why did you go with Section 8? What made you like going after Section 8?
It's the first tenant. She came to see the property and she told me Section 8. I didn't know what the Section 8 is. Then I went with her to the office, and they gave her like a voucher, and I filled up the voucher with her, and the Section 8, they have an inspector. The inspector came to check out the property, but it's in good shape, and she was renting from me for almost a year.
Oh wow! So you had a good experience. The Section 8 experience was a good one for you?
Well, yeah, it was, but yeah, but with this tenant, she was kind of she was troublemaker a little bit, but it was okay. Like,
okay, in what way was she didn't want to pay rent, or was she causing damage at the property, or causing problems with the neighbors?
Yeah, she was causing some problem to the neighbors, and she didn't really want to settle down, but we ended up after a year, after her lease expired, she found another place.
Okay. So going back, would there anything that you've done differently with that tenant? Would you have screened? Do you screen differently, not chosen?
So regardless, here's what I learned. Regardless if it's Section 8 or not, or the money is guaranteed or not, you still have to screen the tenant, because you're gonna end up with someone who's gonna destroy the property and leave, even if like it doesn't worth the energy and the time you're gonna put. It's gonna be a lot of time, so it doesn't worth it. You need to still screen the tenant, regardless it's Section 8 tenant or any tenant has to be screened.
Yeah. So how do you screen your tenants now? Do you do that yourself, or do you have property managers that does that for you?
I do it myself. There are some websites you put the information and you can tell if they have any eviction history, and sometimes you call the previous landlord. You need to make sure that you're in good shape with the previous landlord. And sometimes I like to visit them to see if they are taking care of their properties or not, of where they live, because probably they're gonna keep my property the same way they are keeping the property where they live now.
So yeah, I think it's better to have the property be empty than to try and rush and find a bad tenant, right? If you rush and find a bad tenant, well, it's going to cost you a lot more than it would if you had that property go empty. Wouldn't you agree? Do you think that would you rather have a property empty for a little longer and find the right tenant?
A vacant property is better than a bad tenant.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely.
Like I had the property, I'm leaving it vacant, completely vacant, because I don't want to end up with a bad tenant. Because one tenant can disturb your life really bad. Like you can be anywhere in the world, and this bad tenant is causing trouble. You don't want this. Like even the money you're gonna get, it doesn't worth the headache and the hassle you're gonna have by having this tenant.
Yeah, that's so true. That's such a great point, because it's not only the money, it's the headache, right? The mental pain that it causes. It worries you. You can't relax. You've always got to be thinking what's going on. Yeah, that's so true. That's such a good point as well. That it's the mental headache as well. That's just as much as the financial burden that this can cause. So then you said that. So you bought the first one with your brother's money. Then you took a home equity line of credit, like a HELOC out, and you paid your brother back. Were you able to then use that the HELOC as well to buy the next property, or how did you finance the second one from there?
Yeah, so I was working for another 6 months, and I paid my brother back, and I bought my second property. It was an REO.
Okay. And how so you saved up for the down payment on that second one, or did you borrow money again?
No, I didn't borrow money. It was just bank's money, the bank's money.
Okay. Okay. But so going back, actually thinking back about that first one, you must have been a great cash flowing property, because if you had the bank's initial loan, and then you had the HELOC, and the property was able to pay for both of those with a cash flow.
Yes, with the cash flow, it was cash flowing really good. Yes.
I was going to say that was a killer deal. Then that would sound like a great cash flowing property. So the second one, what was the second? The second, was it a single family home again?
Yeah, to the single family home, and I gave it to Section 8 tenant.
Okay, so this time, did you screen a little differently on this tenant?
Yes, I did.
So this one went a little better?
Yeah, way better. Yeah, and
Okay.
she been there for 5 years, and you get direct deposit in your bank account each month, and it cannot get better than this.
Yeah, guaranteed money, right, from the government.
Guaranteed money. I went to the property like twice in 5 years, and it was very minor. It was it was very legitimate repairs that she wanted, so I had no problem with this.
And then how is the Section 8 set up then? How much do the government pay, and how much do the tenants have to pay? What is the voucher for?
They were paying everything. To be honest, they were paying the entire rent.
Oh, so they pay 100% of the rent. Wow.
100%. You get the check for the entire month.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's even better, right? So you don't have to chase the tenant down at all, because even a lot of times when I hear, like, if the government are paying 90% and the tenant's paying 10%, a lot of times you still have to chase that tenant around for that 10%, because it makes them challenging. They don't always think that they have to pay. And okay, so that's great that you're getting 100%. So where did you go from there? Did you keep buying single family properties?
Yeah, I kept buying single family properties.
So how many single family rental properties did you end up with? Okay, more than two.
Of course, yeah, more than two.
Okay. You told me earlier an interesting story that you managed to finance one of the properties with credit cards. Is that right?
Yes. So this is an interesting one. So it was a divorce case, and it was a short sale deal. So they wanted to get rid of the properties. So what happened is, it took like 6 months before we had a deal with the bank that the current owner owes money to, and to approve the short sale. Once they approved the short sale, I got cash advances on my credit cards. I got the money, I put them in my bank account, and I bought the property at closing, and it was zero interest for 12 months. They had a promotion, like you can use the money for 12 months, zero interest.
Wow. So did you buy all cash with this cash advance, or did you get
all cash?
Okay, yeah, because I think if you finance it, right, the bank needs to see that you had that money sitting in the bank for a few months so you couldn't use that. Wow, that's incredible. And there's zero financing for 12 months. So then what did you do? Did you refinance out of that? Is that what you did?
I kept the property cash flowing. Like I had a section. I had no, not section 8. I had an insurance company took over the property, and they were placing tenants. They were placing people who had a fire damage in their property. So you get the checks from the insurance company every month.
Wow, that's the first time I've heard of that. Wow, that's a great. So how long do they stay in there for? Is it kind of short term? Is it?
So sometimes 8 months, 9 months, 7 months. But since it is a short-term lease, they do pay a premium each month because you are giving short-term lease, which is a beautiful thing.
That is brilliant. I've never heard of that before. I've ever heard.
You get a big fat check every month.
Wow. So how much of a premium do you get? 1.5 times market rent, twice market rent? You think how much more do you think?
Sometimes it was 1.6, and the last time it was 3 times.
What? 3 times?
3 times.
Wow. What a great! How did you come across that strategy? How did you find out?
So the first I was putting it in the market, and then a housing company that works for the adjuster for an insurance company asking me if I would be interested in this. Then I said yes, and the people who had the fire damage in their house, they need to really like the house, so they would approve it, and they really like my place, so I have let them. I give them a lease for 6 months, and then it's renewable every month. And usually, with the fire damage, until you have this property fixed, what happens is they don't fix it in 6 months. They always need more time to have it inspected and to close the permit on the property and to restore the property. It's not an easy thing to do. So usually they stay more than what they initially say they're going to stay. So technically, it's not really short-term lease.
Wow, that's great. Because also the insurance company, right? The insurance companies are not poor, right? They've plenty of money. They're so yeah. The insurance companies are the ones making all the money. So you're guaranteed. You're almost more guaranteed to get your money from the insurance company than the government, almost, right? They have that much money. It's crazy.
That's correct. Yes.
Wow. So have you repeated this process with another one of your properties?
So I built a relationship with a contractor who is fixing one of those houses that had a fire damage, and he sent me another tenant. After the house was empty, he was fixing another house that had a fire damage. So he hooked me up with the tenants, and I was easy to deal with. Like I told him, don't worry about it. I'll just make sure that they are happy in my place. So to keep the relation and to make and there are some emotional aspect because when someone they left their house for the fire damage, I want to make sure that they feel comfortable where they live.
Yeah, that's such a good point. Yeah, because it's been a traumatic experience for them, right? They've lost their belongings, they've lost their house or their apartment, whatever it is, right? I'm sure it's been a terrible experience for them. So you want them to move to somewhere that's, a nice, comfortable living and somewhere that they can at least feel safe and enjoy living there. Yeah, that's such a good point. Wow. So if someone, this is such an interesting one. I've never heard of that before. I'm really interested now. So if someone, if someone wanted to try and implement this strategy themselves, how would you suggest that they went about it? Who would they reach out to? How would they contact people? How would they try and do it?
So the housing company that works for the insurance company, they call you and they tell you about the story of there is a family that we need to move to your place, and we're gonna. They have the furniture ready from a rental company.
Oh, so you don't even have to furnish the place?
No, I don't have to. No. So they come and put the furniture for them, and the adjuster has to approve the rent, the adjuster for the insurance company, and the people who's going to move in has to like the place.
But how do you? But how would someone who doesn't have this connection? How would they find? Would they reach out to an insurance company? Would they need to find an
So
adjuster?
the housing companies, they look online. So I put my houses for rent on Zillow, Trilla, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. They find you, they call you, they tell you about the story. And some people, they think I thought it's too good to be true.
Yeah,
So
yeah, sounds it, right? Yeah.
they asked me for my social security number. I was nervous to give it to them, and I had an LLC. I gave them the EIN number for the LLC because I don't know who are these people. It was too good to be true for someone to pay all this money to do it. It was too good to be true to be true for me. So I do it this way. I had an LLC and I give them the EIN number, and they started to send me the checks. I couldn't believe it because they send you the checks in through FedEx, or like they get your money out right away.
Wow. Well, they pay. They don't. They pay for the life of the lease, or they pay monthly.
No, they pay monthly. They pay monthly, but in the beginning they need the family to move right away, so they even don't wait until you get the money in the regular mail, and they send you the money through FedEx to make sure that you give them the key and let them in.
Wow. So how would someone reach out to the housing authority? Is there a way to reach out to the housing authority?
It's not the housing authorities; they are housing companies
Okay.
that work with insurance companies and would work with other reallocation companies. And I don't know how they get paid, but they work directly with the insurance company, and then those housing companies they call you. They are not private companies. They are not. I mean, they are not public companies or government agencies. They are private companies uh, that is in the housing business.
Mm. So there's no real way that you could. You just have to. They have to reach out to you, right? There's no way that you can kind of reach out to them and make it happen yourself, right? Because that sounds like a great dealer.
Yeah,
Okay, interesting, interesting. So more recently, right? You've been focusing a little bit more on commercial space, right? Is that correct?
correct.
What made you change from, because obviously you're having success in single family, what made you change towards more commercial investing?
So you need to do the same thing, but you need to add some more zeros. When you do business, it takes the same kind of effort. And to scale up in the northeast, the northeast is getting really expensive. So I'm trying to be more creative, more to look more for deals, and I need to scale up. That's why I'm more interested in commercial real estate. I need to do what I'm doing, but on a bigger scale because it's the same kind of effort. As long as I know how to do it on a smaller scale, if I was able to do it on bigger scale, it would be more rewarding.
Mm. So what are you focusing in commercial? Because obviously commercial is a wide range of things, right?
Multi-family apartments.
Okay, and what made you choose multifamily? Because you were dealing with
People are always looking for a place to live.
yeah.
Like I wouldn't do single tenant because single tenant is a proposition for 6 months, 8 months, 10 months. You have to pay taxes, you have to pay insurance, you have to pay the bank interest on the loans. So I feel that with multi-family, people always need to find a place to live, regardless of where are you at in the economic cycle, up or down. You still need somewhere to live.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's one of the most basic human needs, right? Is shelter, right? Having shelter above your head is one of the most basic human needs, and it's something that's technology can't replace that, right? Technology is not gonna come and replace it and be like, okay, you don't need a roof over your head. You always need that, right?
Yeah, you always need. It's like food, and it's like food. It's like one of the basic human needs, as you said.
Yeah, 100%. So what was your first commercial property that you bought?
So it was a veterinary hospital. So the doctor passed away. I bought it from his wife. and the way I found it is very interesting. So it was listed on the commercial side, not on the residential side. No one was looking at it on the MLS, and I had the gut to throw a lowball offer. Like if they said 100, I say no, I'm gonna give you 50.
Uh-huh.
Like there is a say that I learned from someone, a quote: if you are not really embarrassed by what you're offering, you're offering too much.
I've heard that
So
saying too.
once I had this feeling that I'm very, very embarrassed about what I'm offering, I feel that I'm offering the right price. So I had a deal with a doctor's wife, and my attorney advised me not just don't. I told me don't convert it to residential because you need some commercial space because it's located in very prime street, but prime location, and so I converted into. I had an apartment in the first and second floor, and I kept a small commercial space for myself.
Mm. So the goal was always to convert it. You weren't buying it to be a landlord of a veterinarian practice then.
No,
So did you have to kick out the vet there? What, how did that go?
no, it's the veteran itself. He passed away.
Oh, so the vet himself. Okay, I get it. Okay. So was the place, did you have to do a lot of cleanup from the place then? Because if the place used to be a veterinarian, was it, you know?
So I had to. We did a lot of work. We did, we put a new roof, new windows, new flooring, new kitchen, new bathrooms. Everything was almost brand new.
Mm. Now it looks great, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And you're doing the interview from that space now, I believe, right? You're in your office now.
Yeah, that's my office right now. It's my office space.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So what's next for you, man? What are you trying to do
So
next?
right now, I'm trying to convert the warehouse into a small complex.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm trying to do. It's not easy. I know I will get dropped to my knees, and I know I'll get my nose blooded and my butt kicked. But it's okay. It's part of the learning process. Yeah, I I I, I have to I have to. I know this is gonna happen. It's taking me now 6 months before I can get schedule a hearing with the city, and I'm now spending a lot of money between the architect, between the attorney, to make it happen. So let's see how it goes.
Mm. What made you go for a conversion, to buy a warehouse into conversion rather than just buy multifamily already?
So it doesn't make sense for me to spend $150,000 per door, because everything is getting crazy now in the northeast. Everything is getting really expensive. So I'm not gonna spend this kind of money. So I thought I have to be creative a little bit, like find the building and try to convert it. Like it's a warehouse, to convert it to apartments. Like my major concern is to reframe the building from outside and to do the rough plumbing. After that, everything should be easy. But I know it's not gonna be easy because this is the first big project I did. But I am happy with any result that could happen.
Mm. And then, but also interesting, industrial now is, warehouses are becoming more and more valuable, right? Obviously as with the pandemic and everything like that, people are getting more and more stuff delivered, and warehouse space is becoming more delivered. So was it not valuable to keep it as a warehouse at all, or was it just simply more valuable to have it as a multifamily property?
The reason I wanted to make it multifamily because I need to have more than one tenant.
Okay.
This one is the other reason is in a very residential area, and most of the warehouses or the industrial stuff are not really in the center city. So it's almost in center city. So I'm hoping that the planning commission would agree to what I'm trying to do.
That makes sense. Yeah, that the location isn't suited for industrial, the location is better suited for residential. So makes sense. That's cool, man, that you had that vision though to buy it and to convert it, right? Because it's, you know, people who buy multifamily like myself, we're not always visionaries, right? We just see what can be done that's already been done. But to see something like a warehouse and to understand and to think about turning it into multifamily is cool, man. I like the way you think.
I think I had to be creative a little bit because it's gonna cost you millions of dollars to buy a house, to buy a multi-family property in the Northeast that's already established. And given the current market condition and the prices now, the cap rates are crazy. I thought it could take me 2 years before this happened, but I think it worth the time and the effort to do it.
Yeah, yeah, man. You'll have to keep me updated. I'm interested in this project and see how it turns out. It's really cool.
Especially from a learning perspective. Like this is how I look at it. Okay, I know that it's not gonna be easy. Some friends are telling me, Marcos, cut your losses, just sell it. But I'm not gonna do this. I know it's gonna be a hassle, but this is how you learn, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's not always what you make, right? It's what you learn. That's
what you become.
Yeah, exactly. Well, cool, man. Really interesting story, man. Really interesting how you've been able to do everything. Really interesting how you came over and, you know, you kind of, you know, you made a lot of stuff happen and you're continuing to make stuff happen, right? I think it's really cool. But get to the part of the show where I always like to ask wrestling related real estate questions. So as you know, I was a wrestler, right? You found that out. So I like to ask wrestling related real estate questions. The first question is, if you had to pick a wrestling name for yourself, what would it be?
Can you repeat the question again, please?
Yeah, if you picked a wrestling name for yourself, if you to give yourself a wrestling name, what would that be?
In real estate, Pharaoh.
The Pharaoh, right? Yeah, coming from Cairo, has to be the Pharaoh. I love that. Or Tutankhamun, maybe, but the Pharaoh has a better ring to it. So every wrestler has a special move. What is your special move in real estate? What is your biggest strength in real estate, you think?
I think finding deals and networking. But I'm an extrovert. I like to meet new people, so I think finding deals and meeting and networking.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, those are some great skills. What's been the biggest body slam you've had in your investing career? What's been the biggest setback?
The biggest setback is hiring the wrong people. Like when you hire, like one contractor can destroy, not destroying, but one contractor can really cut your profits. Like hiring the right people, especially the contractors, the electrician, the plumbers, the architects, the people you hire for your projects are the biggest. They can be they can make you or break you. They can make the deal or break the deal. So I hired the wrong people before in the past, and it really costs you a lot of money when you have some rotten apple on your team.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I completely agree with that. I completely understand that. Yeah. So was there a moment that you were standing on the top rope, getting ready to jump, but you were too scared? What was it, and how did you overcome it? So was there a moment you were scared to take action or move forward or do a deal or reach out to someone or, you know, do something like that?
To scale up, I'm trying like the project I'm working on. This is not an easy step for me. I would have never thought about it 2 or 3 years ago, and I couldn't believe that I'll be traveling the world and meeting people everywhere like I used to do in the past 18 months. Mm. So I was scared. I couldn't believe that I'm gonna do this step.
So how did you overcome that?
I overcome that by trying to make. I made the decision that I have to upgrade my relationship. I have to upgrade my network. I have to surround myself with people that are positive and that are ready to make it happen.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's really cool. Well, Marcus, thank you so much, man. It's been really interesting interview. You know, you got such a cool story. It's just really interesting how you've been able to do everything and how you're continuing to grow, right? And just keep growing and growing and growing. So I think I love that about you, that you're gonna just keep scaling up and have more success. So and keep learning along the way. So before we go, if anyone wants to reach out to you, get in touch, hear more about your projects, where can people do that?
My email address is marcos.aziz@gmail.com.
That's the best place. Okay, cool. I'll include that in the show notes and the description. Cool, man. Hey, so glad we met at that airport that day. It's just so crazy how you can just,
I'm glad
you never know. It's always like, I think I reached out to you or whatever it was. You never know, right? What can happen, what friendships, what connections can happen. So it's just always good to be connecting with people. Always reach out to people. Don't be afraid. I think that's kind of
like
from that.
I read the book What It Takes. I believe the name of the book What It Takes. I don't know. The author is the CEO of one of the biggest hedge fund in the world. He said, meeting people in early in life, you can build a relationship or a bond that you never know how it's gonna benefit you in the future. So you never know who you're gonna meet, and always there to ask. That's my
Yeah. And one relationship can change your life, right? It only takes one person to really like drastically change your life, right? Whatever that is, right? Someone bringing capital to the deal, someone mentoring you, someone bringing you a deal, right? You never know. All it takes is one person to change your life. So you always need to be connecting, I think.
yes, that's true.
Plus, it's fun, right? We get to talk to cool people like you. It's always enjoyable. So,
Yeah, it's enjoyable.
Hey, thank you so much, man. Have an awesome rest of your day. I appreciate you making the time. And yeah, good to talk to you as always.
All right, thank you so much, Barry, and I'm looking forward to the next time we can meet.